Why do people want or think they need a refeed? Now, the refeed and the diet break is the biggest misconcepted process in fat loss, hands down. It is the main reason why so many people will not get to the goal that they desire. One of the first and main reasons they think they need a refeed or a cheat meal is because they think it will keep them adherent. If you think you're going to go into this dieting process and have a cheat meal every week, you're a fucking pussy. You are. Like, you're not going to look incredible thinking, well, I'll just have one cheat meal a week, because that's at week 1. When it's at week 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, what are you going to be doing then when you've been dieting for that amount of time? You think you're going to stick to the process? Of course you're not. You're going to have 2 fucking cheat meals because it's going to be twice as hard than it was in the beginning. So it's not going to help with adherence. It's just your cope way of fucking doing things. Why else do people think they need a cheat meal or a refeed day? Well, they'll find that when they get 4, 5, 6 weeks in, you will feel flat. And that flatness is in your head. You think you'll feel and look skinny. But it's just the fact that there's not as much muscle glycogen within the tissue that makes you feel skinny and flat. Ever had a big fucking meal out, nice big carby meal, and you go to the bathroom for a piss and you're like, wow, I feel fucking jacked. It's just because your muscles are brimming with muscle glycogen. You've not got any bigger or smaller. And that's why sometimes you may look in the mirror like tomorrow and you may look bigger. And you're like, wow, yeah, I'm bigger. And then 5 days later, you may actually look smaller than then. And you're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? And you never seem to understand your body. This used to fuck me so much. So much. But the reality is, it's just the difference of muscle glycogen and water being within the cells. So that's another reason you will start to feel smaller and skinnier. Another reason is down to hunger and also like wanting options. Like, you want to diet, but you also want to be able to like eat out and shit. But bro, I'll tell you right now, how is food made in these places when you eat out? Is it made with your dietary goals in mind? No, it's made so it fucking tastes nice because you come back again. Because it's a business and they need to grow and survive. So they make their foods palatable, which means it tastes really nice, which means to only eat a certain amount of it is very, very hard. And that's why the best diets are actually ones that are relatively boring, because after a few weeks of eating that, your craving and need for more palatable foods actually diminishes. Now, if you were to apply the refeed ideas based on these emotions, which most people are doing, this is how your progress would look. So you decided you need the refeed, and you've also decided you're cutting. Okay, cool. You have that. Now, once you've had that refeed meal, or let's move back a step actually. You decided you're starting to look skinny when you're on the cut. Now, because of this, you decide, maybe I need a refeed. What's that going to do to your progress 4 weeks, 5 weeks in? Is it going to send it up or down? It's going to send it down, right? Now, when you get to this point, you start to fill back out. You're thinking, maybe I should just bulk. Maybe I should just bulk. The cut wasn't that important anyway. And then you see someone in the gym fucking shredding. You're like, no, I need to cut. I need to cut. Oh, holiday coming, right? We definitely need to cut. Oh, fuck, no, my front delts are looking skinny. No, we're back to bulking again. We're back to bulking. And I need to go out for a date with this girl, so I need to be able to eat, like, I need options, and dieting should be sustainable dieting. So yeah, refeeds and cheat meals are okay because it's going to help me on plan, it's going to keep me sustainable, and then we're going to do this, and then back to bulking. And this is what your progress looks like when you decide to just not set a plan and fucking stick to it. If you're into personal development and you're into building a strong physique, you want a strong physique so you look and feel more masculine. How would a masculine man approach fucking getting shredded? He's at A, 15 to 20% body fat, because he's a respectable human being. Wants to get to B, 8 to 10%. How is he going to go and get there? A masculine man doesn't have emotions into things. He's a masculine man. He sets a plan and follows it. This is how he gets there. Progress stalls towards the end. / shit drawing. So that's going to be his approach. So what would that look and feel like? It would be calculated, structured refeeds when you really, really need it. Not 4 weeks in, not a cheat meal every week. No, it'd be, I'm going to diet down, I'm going to drop this much per week in order to get to B, in order to be shredded, and I'm going to use refeeds when they should actually be used for the reasons I'm going to explain in this video on why you should use it. If you have the previous mindset, which every dork has when they're trying to get shredded, this is how your progress will look. Round in a fucking circle, you won't make that much progress, you won't look that much bigger, you won't be shredded, and you'll just be that shit space in between, and you'll go on your holiday looking like a fucking piece of shit, which means, as I spoke about in my last video, you'll act like a piece of shit, and you just won't gain everything you could have, you'll spend your money, and it just won't be the best experience that you could have had. Whereas this guy knew where he was, knew the time frame, set the goal, executed, didn't listen to his emotions when he was feeling flat because there was muscle glycogen emptied out. Didn't think he was a little pussy that needed a cheat meal every week because it would have helped with adherence and sustainability. You know what helps with adherence and sustainability? Having a coach that tells you, stop being a pussy, follow this, no excuses, get it done, and you will reap the rewards. So this is why people think they need a cheat meal and a refeed. What's the goal here? The goal was to get shredded, yes? We're on this same page. Moving forward in this video now, the goal was to get shredded for our holiday or whatever the reason was you wanted to get shredded. Now, the goal was also to minimize hunger. That's why people think they need a cheat meal. How do you minimize hunger? Well, straight away, you don't eat palatable foods because palatable foods make you more hungry. So you eat normal, bland foods. You have your protein target. You fill up with the veg because it's fibrous and it takes up a lot of room within your stomach. We don't want to feel skinny. How do we not feel skinny and let that affect us? Because you may feel this. We revert to our numbers in our logbook that are in the gym, because if we bring logic back to this, what would the guy do here when he starts to feel flat and skinny? He'd review his logbook and he'd be like, well, I actually have been progressing 4 weeks consistently on the bounce. Despite I feel a little bit flat and skinny, the numbers would suggest I'm actually building muscle, or at the very least retaining muscle, because my numbers in the gym have not dropped. If my numbers in the gym have not dropped, how is it possible that I was to lose muscle? You bring logic to the situation, and straight away you overcome that feeling of feeling skinny. Food options. As a disciplined individual, do you really need food fucking options? I'm sure there's many other places you could take a woman on a date that doesn't involve you cheating on your diet. Is anyone really worth more than your own fucking six-pack? Really? Probably not. Probably not, unless you've been so fucking lonely for 2 years. This is the first date you had and you decide, fuck it, everything goes out the window. But realistically, you don't need fucking food options, mate. It's just a cope. You don't need a fancy diet plan. You need as minimal ingredients as possible, as consistently the same amount of meals as possible. Why? It makes your food shop a lot easier. It makes your prepping a lot easier. It makes your mental clarity a lot easier. When I diet down, I don't stick to a macro plan, which means I don't get given my calories, proteins, fats, and carbs and stick to that. No, I stick to a meal plan because I know what I need to eat and how much of it. I weigh it out, I cook it, that's it. It's simple. And when you're in the depths of a diet, that is what's going to help with adherence. So let's address the elephant in the room. When should we do a refeed day? So let's say, for example, you have been dieting for 8 weeks. You will start to look flat and the numbers in the gym will start to decrease. The goal was always to keep those as high as possible. Training stimulus is what is definitely going to keep muscle tissue on your frame. So at that point, it would serve you to have an insertion of carbohydrates to then drive that performance into the gym. It will also, again, help with adherence for the fact that you've just ate the usual. And by the way, when you do a refeed, you are just going to eat more of the same carbohydrates you're already doing. You don't need to increase fats or protein. Protein should not have changed anyway, and fats realistically going any higher than 20% of their overall target is not going to serve you. What we want to do is replenish glycogen in the muscle, which is going to come from carbohydrates, which is going to come from the basic oats, pasta, and rice that you've already been eating, maybe some fruit that goes in and around the workout. That is when it would serve you to do a refeed, because it will prevail the numbers dropping anymore to keep the tissue. Remember, that is the goal. How do you do a refeed is the question you may ask. Now, there's a slight calculation you can do. You will be able to search this up online, where they tell you to, and I will write this out for you because that is the right thing to do here. So what you would need to do is get your current scale weight. It's the scale weight you are on that given day of the diet. At that point there, they tell you to times it. they tell you to times it by anywhere from 8 to 12. Now, if it is the first time doing this, I would suggest be a little bit conservative and instead go for times 7. So you're going to take your scale weight, 80 kg times 7. I'm not the best at maths, so I will use a calculator. Because in fact, I would always use a calculator. 80 kg. Going to give you 560 grams of carbs. So 560 grams of carbs. So you're going to increase whatever you are on to 560 grams of carbs. Now, protein and carbs, both 4 calories for 1 gram. So they're like for like. Do not just increase your carbs and keep everything else the same. No, you need to pull your protein down quite significantly. I would even say go to like 2/3 of the target that you're on now, just to allow it to come back down. Of course, the refeed, you're going to have more food. You're going to be refed, but it's going to come in the form of carbs, but not drastically over the calories, okay? You may end up being in like, relative to what you were on, creeping back towards maintenance, which let's say you're in a rough 500 calorie deficit. This will all depend person specific without like actually understanding your whole body composition as a whole. This is obviously what I do for clients, and we run the refeeds, and we've had some successful runs of it. Some of the transformations we've done, this guy, we did a refeed or a high carb day into that, and that is really how you get that the veiny look as well. I won't lie to you, that's definitely how you get it done. As well, this guy here, we also did I think we did 3 refeeds across the space of the transformation. So we dieted him down for around about 10 weeks. This whole transformation was 20 kg drop, 16 weeks. Around week 10 was the first one we did, collected the data of what I've just spoke about, times 7. We assessed how did the physique look before and after the refeed, and what was the scale weight increase. This guy actually didn't really increase on the scale at all. So actually there was a little bit more room to push from that, and we went to times 8, and that seemed to be the sweet spot of what filled him up the best. So we did that 3 times. Now, with the refeed, you're looking to do it potentially more than once. The first time you're going to collect the data, as I've just spoke about, so take your photos before and after, track the scale weight in the days, well, you're going to track the scale weight every day, so you're going to be able to see how the trend looked and if you could increase more. If you significantly put on like water that's outside the cell, so you look watery, that you know the watery look when you had like some dirty ass foods, that's a sign that you've overspilled. You've probably gone a little bit too high. They should look full and tight, but it should be intramuscular. That's how you know you've hit the sweet spot. So the first time you're going to collect data, and then you're going to run this. This is going to last you about 10 days. So performance in the gym will go up easy for 10 days. You'll feel fuller, and it'll make dieting easier for about another 10 days. And after that, you'll be back to flat again if you've been dieting properly. And then you go for it again, and you just continue to fill yourself up, drag yourself flat, fill yourself up, drag yourself flat. Literally until the job is done and you are as lean as possible, and then as you do that final photo, you can fill yourself up back up again if you so wish. So that is how you do the refeed, and there's the numbers we've got there. Obviously, it all depends on your specific like body fat and all this sort of stuff, but I wouldn't even start to touch on the refeeds until you get around about maybe 13 to 14% of the absolute earliest, but it's just going to be closer towards that 8 to 10% look. Yeah, do you know what? 13 is probably the earliest I'd look to do it. And again, this assessing body fat is always like an assessment at best. So that's how I do the refeed. I hope you found this useful. If you did and you have further questions, which you may have on this, just drop them in the comments below. We can talk about it there. And yeah, I'll deliver more value like this because I think it's important. It's not really talked about online, and it's stuff I've learned from getting coaching myself. I do find that really valuable. That's why I get coaching. Someone better than me that can take me to the next level. So, as I always say at the end of the video, if you want me to take you to the next level, I offer a coaching service. So it'll be in the link in the description. Just book a call there. But of course, as always, if you're not subscribed, boys, fucking subscribe to the channel, because if you subscribe, it will grow. It will get to more people. I will get the dopamine from subscribers, so I'll work even fucking harder to send it to give more value to you people. But I hope you're enjoying the video so far. We've been consistent on the bounce. I don't know the exact amount of videos it's been, but literally every day since the 29th of Jan. So loving the YouTube, boys. I hope you're finding the value useful. I'm over on Instagram as well. Follow me on there, and we'll see you tomorrow.